Welcome back to TLDR's Daily Briefing for Tuesday the 29th of April 2025. In today's episode, we cover the blackout in Spain and Portugal, Putin's proposed ceasefire, and the election of the next pope. But first, the results are in for the much-anticipated Canadian election. Yesterday, Canadians went to the polls to elect their new government, and despite a slight tightening in the final days of the campaign, in the end, the centre-left Liberals, now led by former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney, won again, which would have been unimaginable only a few months ago, when a Conservative landslide looked pretty much inevitable. Former Liberal Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was highly unpopular, with a net approval rating of -52 in December, whilst the polls had the Conservatives, led by Pierre Poilievre, up by 25 points. By the end of 2024, internal discussions within the Liberal Party were reportedly grim. Under their most optimistic scenarios, they could only hope of holding the Conservatives to a minority government, whilst an outright victory was nowhere on the party's radar. However, things changed once Trudeau stepped down in January and was replaced by the far more popular candidate Mark Carney, whose net approval rating during the election campaign hovered way above both Poilievre's and that of the NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. US President Donald Trump's constant threats of trade wars and annexation of Canada also turned the election from one that was supposed to be focused on domestic issues like the economy, which has been faltering under the incumbent Liberals, into a referendum on which leader is best suited to handle Trump. Whilst the Liberals did win, they've fallen short of the 172 seats required to win an outright majority of the 343 seats in the Canadian Parliament, and will likely have to enter some sort of electoral alliance with the progressive NDP. In an emotive speech to supporters, Jagmeet Singh announced he would step down as leader of the NDP after failing to win his seat. In its worst ever performance, the NDP failed to meet the 12-seat threshold needed to retain official party status, the second time in its history that it has been unable to do so. Meanwhile, Poilievre, the Conservative leader who also appears set to lose his seat, congratulated Carney on his win, with Carney saying this in his victory speech in Ottawa.
President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen. And, because we are Canadian, to do so with compassion and generosity. We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. We are over the shock of the American betrayal. But we should never forget the lessons.